Trump just granted ICE total authorization to defend themselves against people who hamper their efforts to abduct migrants off the streets. And ICE will likely expect his protection when things inevitably go bad. This is the secret police that people are talking about, Trump's personal militia. It might seem like an impossible thing is happening in the US, but to understand Donald Trump's view of the other is to understand a white supremacist with zero empathy. Trump finds immigrants disgusting. People who cross the border, to him, are dirty. He's likened them to vermin, to animals, poisoning the blood of the country. You see, Trump is a eugenicist and cares only for rich, white, good-looking people. All of his policies are aimed at this demographic, and so when COVID comes along and 1 million people die, Trump doesn't care because he knows it's mostly the poor who perish. And when the floods come to Texas, and he shows no empathy because the rich people are spared. And today, at a faith office luncheon, whatever that is, at the White House, he let slip who his massive spending bill will really benefit, and why old rich white men need him and his tax cuts more than anything.
Literally have perhaps a depression where you people so rich, so beautiful, so nice to look at will be totally busted. And let's see how long your wife stays with you. You're beautiful. She'll stay with you for about 3 weeks and she'll say, darling, I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore, darling. I'm leaving you. I said to one guy, he's a very, very unattractive man, but he's smart and he's rich. And I said, you better hope we get this thing passed because your wife will be gone within about 2 minutes. He said, you're right.
And so when it comes to mass immigration, Trump will pull no punches towards the people that have come to the US to seek a better life. Asylum seeking has nothing to do with Hannibal Lecter and everything to do with seeking the American dream. A dream that USAID used to advertise around the world until Trump shut it down. And so the United States is facing an unsettling escalation in federal immigration enforcement with Trump's full backing. This is one that extends far beyond border policy and into the foundations of American democracy itself. Under the direction of Donald Trump, immigration agencies have ramped up aggressive operations across the country, particularly in California and Texas. The scale, the tactics, the tone of these operations has provoked a chorus of concern from civil rights groups, legal experts, and political leaders who warn that these measures represent more than a harsh immigration stance. They signal a deeper erosion of constitutional protections and democratic norms. In simple words, it is pure cruelty. In addition to granting total authorization to federal agents and bypassing due process safeguards, Trump has also called for the arrest of demonstrators who disrupt immigration raids, assigning the task to Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem and Border Advisor Tom Homan, who are already brimming with power and relishing this opportunity. I just want to interrupt myself for a moment to ask you to support me and independent journalism by becoming an exclusive member of this YouTube channel to receive members-only content, early access to most of my videos, regular live-streamed Q&As with me, and much more. It costs just $3 a month for membership, which goes towards helping me grow the channel and create factual, accurate news commentary for those who need it the most. Right now, the failures of corporate-owned media has made finding authentic news coverage in the US difficult. There is hope. I'll do my best to put this honest analysis out every day, but I really need your help to do that. Simply click Join directly below, or click the Join link in the description to join the 5 Minute News YouTube channel. If you already have a Patreon account and you would like to support me there, please do so at patreon.com/5minutenews. Thank you. The statement followed volatile incidents in Ventura County, California, where federal agents raided 2 cannabis farms, resulting in the arrest of over 200 suspected undocumented workers. The raid sparked confrontations with protesters, including the use of tear gas by federal agents and objects thrown by demonstrators. In one tragic case, a farm worker died after falling from a rooftop while fleeing the scene. Though not in custody at the time, his death intensified criticism of the administration's tactics. California Governor Gavin Newsom condemned the raids as inhumane, accusing the regime of using chaos and fear as political tools. These raids are not isolated incidents. Across the country, law enforcement is being deployed in ways that mirror authoritarian crackdowns more than democratic policing. Rather than calming tensions, the Trump regime has responded with more force. ICE's budget has ballooned under Trump's leadership from $8 billion to $28 billion, making it the most heavily funded law enforcement agency in the federal government. Plans to hire 10,000 new agents are underway, with a proposed ICE enforcement budget of $150 billion. The psychological and economic toll of these operations is immense. Community members report a chilling effect where fear of arrest keeps people from going to work, shopping, or even sending their children to school. Businesses have seen foot traffic plummet. In neighborhoods like MacArthur Park in California, the presence of ICE has become a permanent shadow, casting fear and uncertainty over daily life. Legal advocates argue that the administration's enforcement strategy amounts to racial profiling and unconstitutional policing. In many cases, those arrested have no criminal record, and they were detained based on their appearance, on their language, or their location. People are seized outside grocery stores, churches, and elementary schools. According to one legal complaint, DHS agents have engaged in an extraordinary campaign of targeting people based on nothing more than the color of their skin, and in some cases where they live or work. They aren't chasing criminals, they are eradicating people of color. And it's not only immigrants who are affected. Legal observers point out that the very notion of equal protection under the law is at stake. Trump's actions are not just about deporting undocumented people, they're about reshaping the relationship between government and the governed. By encouraging the use of force, eroding judicial oversight, and bypassing local jurisdictions, the Trump regime is modeling a form of governance that relies on fear, secrecy, and impunity. These are the hallmarks of authoritarian regimes. More alarmingly, the judiciary itself appears increasingly aligned with the Trump regime's agenda. The Supreme Court recently limited the ability of lower courts to block executive orders, effectively greenlighting Trump's move to end birthright citizenship, a right guaranteed by the 14th Amendment. Legal scholars warn this ruling could embolden further attacks on constitutional guarantees. This is all part of a broader pattern that legal scholars and historians recognize as symptomatic of democratic backsliding, when law enforcement is weaponized against political enemies and American citizens, when judges enable executive overreach, and when dissent is criminalized. Democracy is no longer functioning as intended. In this context, Trump's immigration raids are not merely a policy issue, they are a warning sign. The use of militarized police tactics in civilian communities, the radicalized nature of arrests, and the regime's open disdain for judicial and media oversight reveal a deeper transformation of the American political system, one that embraces autocracy over democracy. For now, resistance is emerging in courtrooms and city halls, but the long-term damage to institutions, to communities, and to democratic norms may take decades to repair. What is clear is that democracy does not die all at once. It erodes piece by piece under the weight of fear, silence, and unchecked power. The work of preserving it begins with noticing and naming what is happening, calling it out for what it is, and acknowledging that America's checkered history has brought us to this precipice, not by chance, but by design. I'm Anthony Davis. You can find me on the 5 Minute News YouTube channel and podcast, on Wednesdays co-hosting Uncovered, and on Sunday on The Weekend Show with Midas Touch.